Hello, today we're going to be discussing vibrato, and it's one of the most common questions I get from students on, can you teach me to do this? And yes, I can. It's important to know a couple things before we start learning vibrato. It's not something that will happen overnight. I like to use the analogy of a garden. If you plant seeds, you have to water, you have to provide sunlight, and you have to give it a good environment to grow. The same thing happens with vibrato. It is something that you have to work on a little bit every single day, and over time it will blossom into a beautiful flower or a beautiful garden. A couple things that every teacher will tell you, and every teacher is going to teach vibrato differently, but one common factor is that your left hand must stay relaxed at all times. You cannot have a death grip or squeeze the neck of your instrument if you're going to have a warm vibrato, which we use vibrato to warm up the sound, the music that we're playing. So if you're still confused about vibrato, this is what I'm talking about. What we add to the note to give it color and warmth. And there are two basic kinds of vibrato. There is an arm vibrato and a wrist vibrato. I will show you both. The wrist vibrato is the hand and the wrist. The arm vibrato is keeping the arm nice and solid and moving it as a unit. One of those will probably feel more natural to you, and that's something that you get to experiment with, and I will show you some exercises coming up in this video. You'll see me demonstrate on my third finger. For me, that's the easiest. It's the strongest of our fingers typically. I would not suggest working on vibrato using your pinky because that's generally our weakest finger. And so for me, the third finger works really well for these exercises. On the violin, the vibrato note goes from the note, below, and back up, not above. This is different for other instruments. I'm using a D. And you want to go below the note, back to the D. In slow motion, we call these sirens, and that's a really good exercise to use when you're starting to learn vibrato. It's also good to maybe warn your family members or your pets that you're going to try this because it's not going to sound very good. And you have to sound wide and siren-y before it's going to blossom into a nice vibrato. So I'm going to show you two exercises, okay, to get your hand relaxed, okay? You're going to take your left hand, nice and relaxed, and you're going to just move it up the fingerboard and down the fingerboard. You're just going to polish the string with your third finger. Just up and down. You don't need your bow. You don't even need to make any noise. Just up and down. Okay, this is getting your hand shaped and staying relaxed. Okay? With your bow, this is my absolute favorite exercise, and I call it the heartbeat monitor exercise. If you picture the heart monitors in the hospital, you have the pulse that goes bloop, bloop, bloop. Each one of those bloops is going to be a vibrato motion. Let me demonstrate. Again on my third finger. So that's feeling pretty good to me, so I'm going to add 2. Now, if I'm not relaxed, it's going to sound very tense. It needs to stay wide and kind of obnoxious sounding to begin with. a nice controlled, relaxed motion. Okay, and you can go as many as you want, add 3, add 4, add 5, all while being relaxed and controlled. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you'll notice for me, the arm vibrato is what naturally I go to. Okay, if you want to try the wrist vibrato, you reach back, touch, and back up. Touch, back up. You'll notice that there's space here. I'm not squeezing. There's space so I can reach back. Okay, that means that I'm very much using this setup. Okay, I'm making the work happen here, so I'm able to be relaxed here. So gradually when you do this heartbeat monitor exercise, you can get faster, still being relaxed and still being controlled. And then speed it up. So we're slowly taking that seed and blossoming that flower into a nice bloom. And then the goal is to be able to keep that a nice even speed the whole time. And depending on what kind of music you're playing, you can have a faster vibrato or a slower vibrato. Not every note needs vibrato, okay? It's for color and warmth. It takes time and you have to be patient with it. So again, the wrist vibrato, reach back. The arm vibrato stays as a unit, still reaching back with your arm. Okay, and when you get real fancy and you're feeling very relaxed and very controlled, start walking your fingers up the fingerboard. And then try and do it without stopping the motion. All while staying relaxed.